In our previous video, we brought you the news that these financial giants launched a cryptocurrency exchange called EDX. This development is bullish for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. The only assets or cryptocurrencies that are going to be trading on the exchange are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. If you want to learn more about this, make sure you check the linked video in the description. Next, in this video, the CEO of Ripple, Brad, comments and criticizes the content of Hinman's documents. Remember, we talked about this in a previous video. If you've not seen that video, make sure you check the linked video in the description. If you don't know what the documents are anyway, they are a set of documents that show the internal discussions of the agency before the famous speech by William Hinman, a former director of the Division of Corporate Finance of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, chaired now by Gensler.
Hi, I'm Brad Garlinghouse. As many of you know, I don't often make videos like this, but then again, not every week has been like this one. A few days ago, after 2 years, 7 court orders, and over $100 million in legal bills, the Hinman speech documents, including internal SEC emails and comments leading up to this now infamous 2018 speech, they've finally been unsealed. Hinman's speech created new factors to determine if a token becomes sufficiently decentralized to no longer be considered a security. At best, these documents show that senior officials at the SEC couldn't agree on the law and told Bill Hinman directly he would confuse the public even more about the rules for crypto. At worst, they show that Hinman deliberately ignored the law, and he tried to create new laws, something only Congress can do. And while he was a public servant, Hinman received millions of dollars of payments from his law firm, which was part of an alliance with others that had a vested interest in this speech. This speech isn't about any one token or any one blockchain. This is about showing the extent to which the SEC has relentlessly pursued enforcement actions against crypto players while professing fake open arms and calls to come in and register, all the while lying about their so-called guidance. As some of you may know, Ripple spent years proactively engaging with the SEC. I personally met with Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman, with no lawyer present. Why would I need a lawyer if we were all coming together in good faith? We answered every question they had, and not once did they suggest to me that XRP was a security. We were fully transparent, not knowing they would then use this information against us. The SEC hit us with a surprise Wells notice, saying they were considering suing us for breaking securities laws and still refused to provide specifics. To those that have recently been hit with their own Wells notices and lawsuits, this likely sounds all too familiar. When the lawsuit did drop against us, days before Christmas, a very Grinch-like touch, they made it personal. They sued Chris Larson and they sued myself, alleging we should have known all along that XRP was a security. You can now see plain as day, they couldn't even agree amongst themselves. And to me, it still seems like they can't. What we saw play out in our case is exactly what's still happening. The SEC is looking to kill crypto innovation in the United States, and its current chair, an unelected bureaucrat I might add, is weaponizing the lack of regulatory clarity to exert jurisdiction over the entire crypto space. This is the definition of putting politics over people. It's the pursuit of power over sound policy. The SEC tried to bully us into acquiescing. Thankfully, we have had the resources to fight back. And now we can all see what they've fought so hard to hide. They knowingly created confusion about the rules, and they used that confusion to regulate through enforcement. That's bad faith, plain and simple. Ultimately, as our lawsuit comes to a close, for so many others, it's just starting. The fight for clarity has to continue. I just want to conclude by saying to my colleagues here at Ripple, to my family, my friends, everyone who has supported us over the past 2.5 years, and certainly to the whole of the XRP Army, a very heartfelt and a very genuine thank you for that support.
In another bullish news for Bitcoin, in fact, this one right here should be hitting the headlines. Nebraska's former head of economic development testifies that mining Bitcoin lowers property tax and helps build more renewable energy.
What benefits in terms of economic development have you seen from new businesses in the crypto industry who are locating in Nebraska? Can you expand upon some of the things you were talking about before, please?
Thank you, Senator. Absolutely. We've actually seen significant benefits from this industry to date, mostly from tax revenues and then job creation. And again, those are very good paying jobs, particularly in rural areas of Nebraska. The tax revenues for the state and local political subdivisions, we've seen just for one crypto mining facility in Nebraska, $1.6 million in state sales tax over a 12-month period. And during that same time frame, $3.8 million for the local taxing authorities. That enables infrastructure investments in the host communities. In fact, due to those increased tax revenues, that Nebraska community has been able to make significant enhancements to its regional municipal airport to attract commercial air service to the community, which is important not only from a quality of life perspective for the residents there, but also for recruiting additional economic development prospects to the area.
And it was also fair to say that also helps keep property taxes down?
Absolutely, and that's certainly a concern in the state of Nebraska. Those sales tax revenues help every resident of the state on their property tax bill.
Are you hearing from companies that want to locate their crypto industry in the state of Nebraska, have expressed an interest in moving?
We certainly are, and there's a great deal of interest, due in large part, as you mentioned, to the low rates that we have, but also to the rate designs that we've put in place. And our customers, both rural public power districts and municipalities, are eager to host these opportunities, again, because of the tax benefits and the good paying jobs that they bring. Nebraska is also rather unique because we've historically had additional capacity available. We're the country's largest irrigator, thanks to the Ogallala Aquifer, and many irrigation wells have been converted to electric from diesel. This load, while large, is seasonal. So 2 to 3 months out of the year, during the summer, those irrigation wells demand a lot of electricity. But the remainder of the year, we have additional capacity to spare.
All right, great. One of the things that's been mentioned here today is the impact of these facilities on emissions. That crypto assets, mining businesses are responsible for increasing fossil fuel use and driving up greenhouse gas emissions. Ms. Dentlinger, my understanding is that Nebraska Public Power District is leading the way in the development and deployment of new clean energy technology, such as supporting a regional hydrogen hub. You mentioned that in your opening remarks. And supporting deployment of carbon capture technologies, which you also mentioned. Can you tell us a little bit more about the role new industries play in supporting clean energy technology and adoption in Nebraska?
Yes, load growth creates opportunities. And as you mentioned, we're exploring a number of those currently. We're in the process of developing our integrated resource plan, and new load means an opportunity for additional generation resources, and clean energy technologies would be part of those additions. In fact, any new generation resources we deploy would have a lower carbon footprint. Loads with higher load factors, such as crypto mining, which means they're utilizing electricity at steady rates rather than ramping up and down, can produce more constant revenue streams, which in turn can help finance those clean energy technology deployments.
Finally, as at the time of filming this video, Bitcoin is trading at $30,478.22, a drop of 0.3%. In my next video, I'm going to be doing a bit of technical analysis. I'm going to be telling you what I think, where I think Bitcoin would be heading next. If you want to see that video, make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell. Of course, this is it for this video. This is Briggs LBs, and this guy Ken signing off.